Well, you did some pushing of your own, John.
They drew first blood, not me.
John Rambo is an iconic Sylvester Stallone character. Moreover, Stallone cherishes Rambo a bit more, maybe because he learned from the past mistakes and now owns his own creation, which in the case of Rocky, he does not. But First Blood did not intend on creating an iconic character. It was telling a heartfelt story about veterans coming back home and dealing with the aftermath of the Vietnam War. To say the least, First Blood, if you haven't watched it, is not exactly what you think when you think of John Rambo. I'm Meffistoe, like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie First Blood.
Possessed God in heaven to make a man like Rambo.
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
The movie First Blood was based on a novel by the same name written by David Morrell. It was adapted into a screenplay written by William Stackheim and Michael Kozol. But their script was adapted yet again when Sylvester Stallone was involved, and his star power allowed him to make changes to more or less give you the version of the movie you got to see. But more on that later.
He was just another drifter that broke the law.
Vagrancy, wasn't it? That's gonna look real good on his gravestone at Arlington.
The movie starts as we see John Rambo going to see his war buddy, only to learn that he recently passed away from cancer due to his exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. Disappointed, Rambo walks straight into a little town by the name of Hope, where a local sheriff spots him and kindly asks him to leave town since he doesn't care for drifters.
Is there any law against me getting something here?
Yeah, me.
After ceremoniously got dropped off out of town, Rambo defiantly walks back and the sheriff arrests him for loitering and disobeying a police officer. In the jailhouse, while being booked, Rambo suffers a lot of unnecessary roughness by the deputies, especially one Art Galt. This actually triggers memories from fighting in Vietnam, and Rambo's survival instincts kick into gear as he beats up his captors, captures a dirt bike, and runs out of town, with the police after him.
Don't move. I don't want you to cut your own throat.
John manages to outmaneuver the police and especially Sheriff Teasel, but he has to ditch his ride and go by foot. At this point, a helicopter joins the chase, and as Rambo gets cornered, Art Galt, who was in the helicopter, tries to take Rambo's life with a sniper rifle. John has no choice. As he tries to distract the helicopter pilot with a rock, he causes Galt to slip and fall to his death.
Stand right where you are! Give yourself up!
But I didn't do anything!
I'm warning you, boy, don't make a move, I'll blow your head off!
I didn't do anything!
Things just go from bad to worse as the entire sheriff's department learn that John Rambo isn't just a runaway drifter, as they follow him deep into the woods and encounter something completely beyond their expertise.
Don't push it. Don't push it, I'll give you a war you won't believe.
Things get so bad that the state police and the National Guard is called to hunt down a lone maniac and to bring him to justice. And at this point, we get introduced to Colonel Troutman, the man who knows John Rambo the best. And he gives Teasel the lowdown on what he truly is dealing with and why he shouldn't have done what he did.
I don't think you understand. I didn't come here to rescue Rambo from you. I came here to rescue you from him.
There is something to say about iconic movie characters. Their status goes beyond the movies they were in and extend deep into pop culture. Of course, some characters' legacy extend to the next generation, but some do not. Rambo, as we know him today, has those kinds of legacies. For a long time, if you wanted to describe a man that is just badass and he takes charge, a kind of guy that just spears through danger, you would call that guy Rambo.
He thinks he's Rambo.
Rambo is a pussy.
That reputation actually did not start in First Blood. The movie has action elements in it, but it is mostly an indictment against the people who treated veterans coming back home from the Vietnam War like crap, not understanding the complexity of the way they returned from that particular war. And above all, not understanding the levels of PTSD these guys came back with, especially the ones with deep guerrilla warfare combat experience.
I'm just amazed that he allowed any of your posse to live.
Is that right?
Strictly speaking, he slipped up. You're lucky to be breathing.
From the moment Sheriff Teasel encounters Rambo till the very end of the movie, we see what happens when PTSD is triggered in a soldier that is highly trained and his survival mode kicks in a civilian setting. You can see sparks of it when Rambo is put in a situation where a simple razor triggers memory of torture from that war. Because of Stallone's physique and his character in Rocky not being the sharpest tool in the shed, he never got enough credit for his writing. In First Blood, he took an early draft of a screenplay and modified it to make John Rambo a character that you actually root for. In the Stackheim and Cosell script, which was closer to the novel version, Rambo kills a lot of people. The book and the earlier screenplay ended up bloody, very, very bloody. And Stallone softened that script in order to highlight the true message of the book. So instead of going psychotic, Rambo is just triggered into a fight or flight mode, but since he is positioned as a highly trained soldier, there's always that element of danger. And yes, he does hurt a lot of people along the way, but never permanently. And even Galt's death isn't quite the way it seems to everybody else.
I mean, what would you have done with him if he came in? Would you wrap your arms around him, give him a big sloppy kiss? Or would you have blown his brains out?
Most of the dialogue in the movie actually falls in the lap of Brian Dennehy playing the sheriff, Will Teasel. It's through his eyes we see the progress of the story, and it's through his efforts to pursue Rambo we discover more and more about John's illustrious past. Another key element is Richard Crenna as Colonel Sam Troutman. He interacts with both of our main characters, with Teasel as he tries his best to make him understand who he really deals with and tries to give him a sage advice.
You think Rambo was the only guy who had a tough time in Vietnam? He killed a police officer, for Christ's sake.
You're goddamn lucky he didn't kill all of you.
And with Rambo, who he tries to stop before things escalate deeper into the point of no return. Both actors with a solid performance.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!
Nothing is over! Nothing!
Accompanying this movie is the music of Jerry Goldsmith, who created a modern classic theme. The song It's a Long Road, sang by Dan Hill, is a modern classic, and it hits hard when it comes at the very end of the film, after such a dramatic and intense scene that teaches you how deep the problem is and how real the message is behind the entire movie. What can I say more about this film? If you're expecting an action-packed movie, you'll be sorely mistaken. In the heart of it, it is an engaging drama and a heartfelt story. The movie actually makes you think and leaves you thinking after the movie is done. And this is why I mentioned the song. As the credits roll by, you are left contemplating on what just happened and how things got to the way they are. Depending on your world experience, the ending scene might bring you to actual tears, especially if you did any kind of military service that actually matters. This is a fantastic film that I will gladly recommend, although I do suggest saving this one to a more mature audience. There isn't too much graphic violence or swearing, but the overall theme of the movie might go over the heads of a younger audience.
Who are they to protest me, huh? Who are they? Unless they've been me and been there and know what the hell they're yelling about.
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.